Hi all, here we're into the dumbbell deadlift, and as always the video is packed full of the tips and hints that you need to make sure that when you do this exercise you are absolutely on point. And as always, when I create these videos, there's one or two key points that we need to get across, so stay tuned for those, because as always we will go through those in detail. Let's start with the setup. Feet are about shoulder width apart. Knees should stay aligned and track about the second toe. Definitely avoid any collapsing of the knees. So if you find your knees are folding inwards, turn your knees out, so when you're going down towards the floor, your knees tracking about that second toe. Emily is always really good with the neutral spine, so we make sure we're aligned and we keep that. It's not a straight back, it's a neutral spine position throughout the exercise. Definitely avoiding any rounding or any hunching of the mid back, and it can happen in the sort of lumbar region as well. And then the neck, we just want to keep it aligned with the back. So the mirror is great for this one to start with, because there's lots of parts that you need to get right. So there's nothing wrong with doing this exercise with light dumbbells, face onto the mirror, and then also doing it so you're side on, so you can just keep an eye on your posture and make sure that that's good. And then gradually, as you get better and better and better, then you will learn the pattern and you will be able to do it without having to check yourself in the mirror. So feet are shoulder width apart, knees aligned with that second toe, and then we keep the neutral spine throughout the exercise. Right, into the absolute key points, and the first one that I would say is, when you lower those dumbbells down towards the floor, imagine folding at your waist so your weight is over those dumbbells. What I see happens all the time is people go into a squat where they tend to sit their bum backwards, but those dumbbells are still out in front of the knees. So all that's happening is you're really going into a deeper squat, but the dumbbells are countering your weight, which is why you can sink into a deep squat. But you're not targeting the area that's key, and we're looking to target the back here. So avoid sitting or squatting down and using the weights as counter. You want to make sure that as those weights go down towards your shin, you are folding at the waist and your weight is transferred almost over the top of those dumbbells. Okay, so you can see here that Emily, she's not sitting down into a chair as such, she's leaning forward a bit, and that's where you will target the back, and that is the benefit of doing your deadlift. The next key point is how deep you go with your dumbbells. You only need to go down to about mid shin. So if you see on the right hand side of the video here, there's barbells there. Imagine doing this exercise with a barbell. You won't be able to go much further than the midpoint of your shin, because those barbells will then be in contact with the floor. So I see it the whole time. People go way too deep. They try to reach down towards the floor. No need. Stop at about your mid shin, and that is the perfect height to do any form of deadlift. Just on the point of dumbbells, keep them as close to your shins as possible. So when you lower the weight down and bring the weight back up, those dumbbells should almost be dragging up the front of your legs, so dragging up your shins. This gets even more important when you begin to increase the weight, because of course the heavier the weight is, the closer you want to keep it to the body. So make sure those dumbbells are dragging up and down the front of your shins. Rep speed, I always give people 2 seconds up and 2 seconds down, because that keeps you at a nice steady pace. I would always also try and get people to avoid that rounding of your mid to upper back, is do a scapular squeeze or a shoulder blade squeeze. So that means pulling your shoulder blades together and trying to hold that as you drop those weights down towards the floor. Okay, so that really helps to keep your posture aligned and avoid that hunching, that rounding of your mid and upper back. Okay, let's whiz through a recap, because there's quite a few points there. Feet are shoulder width apart and knees will be tracking that second toe. We keep the neutral spine throughout. Remember, when you lower the weights down towards the floor, your weight should be over the top of the dumbbells, not sitting backwards. So always keep your weight over the dumbbells. Dumbbells will go down to about your mid shin, and of course we keep them nice and close, so almost just grazing up and down the shins. Shoulder blades are squeezed together and down, and that will really help to keep you in that nice neutral spine. Once you're good with the dumbbells and you want to take the next step forward, then of course you can move onto barbell deadlifts, but the dumbbells are a great place to start. And there you have it. I do hope it helps, of course. Take care and have fun. Cheers, bye.